Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a judge reaches a decision on the Bridgeport ballot battle. We have details on what that judge is saying about the election.
She went to work and she died. You shouldn't go to work to die.
Calls to address visiting nurse safety after one dies on the job. The message from lawmakers tonight.
And elevated concerns of hate crimes on college campuses. We'll take a look at what some local universities are doing.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. We begin with developing news out of Bridgeport tonight. A judge has ordered a new Democratic primary.
Yeah, this comes weeks after a trial challenged the results based on surveillance video that showed alleged ballot drops in the days leading up to the primary.
Fox 61's Jake Garcia is live from Bridgeport Superior Court with details on the judge's ruling and what happens next. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, this comes just nearly 2 weeks after 5 days of hearing on the Bridgeport primary, where today Judge William Clark ruled in favor of John Gomes, the Democratic challenger of incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim. Now, Judge Clark issued a 37-page ruling Wednesday saying that due to the video that showed Wanda Jeter Pataki and others making numerous ballot drops that were in violation of state law, and the numbers of absentee ballots that did not have the appropriate stamps required by state law was enough to question the outcome of the primary election. Now, aside from the civil lawsuit, the state's Election Enforcement Commission is also investigating the allegations. Mayor Joe Ganim, who denies any involvement, won the primary by 251 votes through absentee ballots. Today's ruling now sets into motion an unprecedented chain of events. The city of Bridgeport and both campaigns and the Secretary of the State's office has 10 days to agree and set a date for the new primary. Now, just moments ago, the Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, released a statement saying that she is pleased that Judge Clark is protecting the integrity of our elections by ordering a new primary election, going on to say that she will work to make sure that that new date is set within 10 days. Although Bridgeport's general election is currently scheduled for next Tuesday, where incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim will appear as the Democratic candidate and John Gomes will appear as the independent candidate for mayor. So still some questions surrounding that as well. But John Gomes reacting to today's ruling, calling it, quote, a victory for the people of Bridgeport. Our campaign always believed that the integrity of our democratic process must be upheld, and Superior Court Judge William Clark agreed. We also reached out to Mayor Ganim's office for comment on today's ruling. We have yet to hear back. Reporting live from Bridgeport, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Jake, thank you. A ripple of heartbreak felt through one of the fastest growing industries here. Connecticut's home care community has doubled in size since the pandemic, but its members are now reeling after one of their own was killed on the job.
Lawmakers join industry leaders in Hartford to talk about keeping visiting nurses safe. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez has the message they shared.
Joyce Grayson was a veteran nurse known as a hero who took care of the most vulnerable. Now nurses across Connecticut wearing white ribbons and calling for more to be done to protect nurses entering homes.
She was a very beautiful soul, loving, kind.
Visiting nurse Marilyn Dunbar is afraid to work after what happened to her friend and colleague, 63-year-old Joyce Grayson.
Every single day you leave your home, you're not sure if you're going to go home, if you're going to get attacked or anything. You know, we take a risk every day when we go into someone's home.
2 years ago, Dunbar was attacked by a client she visited.
I had to fight my way out of there. Got my hair pulled out.
But what happened to Grayson on Saturday while seeking to care for recently released registered sex offender Michael Reese remains unclear. What is clear, Willimantic police found Grayson's body in the basement.
This is our state coming together as one single voice, and we're saying that there's going to be zero tolerance.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle joining healthcare workers who've been calling for expanded safety protocols for years.
We will never forget her name, every single visiting nurse. We're all really sad. None of us are surprised.
It's unclear if Grayson knew she was visiting a halfway house. Reese, released from prison early after nearly stabbing someone to death, now back in custody. Police say he had Grayson's keys on his person, and they found evidence he tampered with a court-monitored GPS device.
People are being released time and again who a lot of us cringe and say, are they really ready to be integrated into society, and clearly they're not.
And one of the issues lawmakers say they'll be looking into is potentially adding an escort to accompany visiting nurses when they go into high-risk situations. Meanwhile, the Grayson family has retained a New London-based legal firm that handles wrongful death claims. In Hartford, I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Samaya. Turning to the weather now, a cold start to our November.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Rach, we saw our first flakes of the season today. I guess it was just too warm for it to pile up.
Yeah, it certainly was. We get a little bit more time to mentally prepare for something like that. But to go along those lines, we actually have a hard freeze in the forecast for tonight. That doesn't mean anything about the roads. It just means temperatures will drop below freezing, really effectively ending the growing season. There's a freeze warning in effect for the immediate shoreline. That doesn't mean it's going to be cooler at the shoreline than it will be in Windsor Locks, for example. It just means that the National Weather Service has stopped issuing freeze warnings inland because the growing season is already so past over at this point. Twilight, beautiful out there right now in the Hartford area with a temperature right around 40 degrees. There's still a leftover sprinkle. Maybe it looks like they just fizzled out here within the last 3 minutes or so. So we should be good to go as we head through the remainder of the overnight hours with continuing clearing skies and rapidly falling temperatures. We're already in the mid-30s in Waterbury, near 40 degrees in Hartford. And as we head towards daybreak tomorrow, we're looking at overnight lows dipping back into the 20s away from the shoreline, near 30 at the beaches, and then we'll rebound up near 50 as we head through the afternoon tomorrow. But most of the day will be in the 40s. But the warming trend is real heading towards the weekend. We'll show it to you coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Police have identified the teen who was killed in a crash in Orange. Police say 14-year-old Jasser Cyprian of Waterbury was a passenger in a stolen BMW when the driver hit a tractor trailer. This happened Monday morning at the intersection of Derby Ave and Orange Center Road. Jasser was thrown from the car. Police believe the driver of that stolen car was picked up in another car at the scene, but Jasser was ejected from the BMW. According to police, the tractor trailer had a green light and the BMW ran a red light. The crash is still under investigation.
West Hartford police are investigating a shots fired incident. Police say it happened in the area of Elmhurst Circle just after 11 last night. An unoccupied parked car and a building were hit by the gunfire, but no one was hurt. Anyone with information about what took place should call West Hartford police.
Amid a rise in anti-Semitic incidents, the state's now calling for preventative measures. Governor Ned Lamont's pushing for college security teams to meet. Fox 61's political reporter Emma Wolfhorst spoke with students at UConn. She brings us more about their experiences.
Students here tell me they're feeling anxious and scared right now, worried about their safety off and on campus.
It feels like it's only a matter of time when something will happen.
Oday Naor came to UConn from Israel this semester.
It's extremely difficult to just call every morning to my family and my friends and to ask them how they are. I mean, I want to be in Israel, even if it's not safe there.
But she and her fellow students say they feel unsafe here, too.
It's hard to find Jews that don't know either someone or have a friend or know a friend that has a friend that's either been kidnapped or killed or something else. Like, this is affecting us as Jews, and this is really impacting us.
The Anti-Defamation League reported a nearly 400% increase in anti-Semitic incidents since Hamas's attack on October 7th. They've reported rising harassment, vandalism, and assault.
My mom, for one, has told me multiple times to not express that I'm Jewish, to not let people know that I'm Jewish unless it's necessary, because she was worried that I'm a woman, I'm alone, I'm Jewish, I'm a target.
Now, the state is trying to combat this. Governor Lamont calling for a meeting of higher education security officials to evaluate different ways of combating and preventing hate crimes on college campuses.
I think tensions are ramping up. There's a lot of examples of hate speech out there. Racist speech, anti-Semitic speech, Islamophobia.
Lamont calls these growing incidents dangerous and says this meeting will take place as soon as possible, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Students at UConn say this is a good idea, but also feel their safety is about more than just law enforcement.
We don't want to see what's going on at these other universities come here. We don't want to have to take reactionary measures. We'd rather try to prevent that now.
I don't want to walk around campus or security guard starts being here at Hillel just so we will feel safe, we can just, like, I don't know, do more stuff to just sit and speak with these people, you know, just to hear each other.
Reporting in Stores, Emma Wilforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Officials at one West Hartford school are investigating a racist threat found on a bathroom stall this morning. Officials with Hall High School say it was a threat of violence toward a racial group. The school doesn't believe the threat is credible, but officials say they will continue to assess the situation.
The Connecticut chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, is calling on the Farmington Board of Education to investigate alleged inappropriate anti-Palestinian conduct of a high school history teacher. CARE says they received an audio clip, and in it, a history teacher allegedly shared inaccurate narratives and exchanges about the history of Palestinians that could result in violence and discrimination against Arab and Muslim students. The Board of Ed is being urged to take action.
All right, your train ride to work will likely cost more from now on. Beginning today, Metro North, CT Rail, Hartford Line, and Shoreline East commuter lines are all raising their prices 4.5%. Transportation officials say they're also removing 24 trains from the schedule. The DOT held public hearings for riders to weigh in, many of them saying this move would impact the workforce here in our state.
Cutting services will effectively be the end for Shoreline East, putting this part of the state at an even greater disadvantage than wealthier areas like Fairfield County.
Transportation officials are citing increased costs to run the trains as a reason for the price hike, including labor, maintenance, and electricity. The open enrollment period has begun for Access Health CT. Tomorrow, residents can get help selecting coverage plans at 10:30 a.m. at the Greater Bridgeport Area Prevention Program on Barnum Avenue in Bridgeport, and at 1:30 p.m. at New Opportunities, Inc. on North Elm Street in Waterbury. The annual enrollment period ends January 15th, and you must enroll on or before December 15th for January 1st coverage.